I think he has not. It's not just me who's been his fan, all through his playing career, but millions of others around the world. It's slightly sad because, but as they say, all good things come to an end. So I think this is the end of his competitive tennis. Like he had mentioned that I love tennis and I'm never going to leave it. It's a very similar feeling for all the people who put their heart and soul into this game. So I think with Roger Federer, we talk about the legend, the goat. He's just made the sport of tennis, rivalries, everything so grand and big. And I think we've been very, very fortunate to have enjoyed, being a part of this era, being a part of this tennis, this tennis world that has shown us some very many great players, and a lot of them whose journeys have ended and are about to end. So I think it's been fantastic watching him play, watching him conduct himself on and off the court. His last message, his message of retirement to his fans, it was emotional, overwhelming. It touches everyone's heart, and it just shows the kind of greatness there is, whether it's on the court, whether it's off the court, or whether it is while acknowledging his fans, coaches, and people associated with him in his entire career. I have two very contrasting memories, that have stayed with me. One was when he played against Pete Sampras, who was my idol growing up. When I was playing tennis, we looked up to him. He was the king of grass, and I remember watching the Wimbledon match against Federer. When he was going for his record. Eighth Wimbledon, if I'm not mistaken, and I think it was an epic match. It was great. There was this 19-year-old who was just about to enter and make his mark on the scene. I think that was one of those very big epic matches that I remember clearly. Also, when he was expected to win against Nadal, and in a rain-delayed, very, very long Wimbledon final. He had already won it before, and I think that was the year when Rafa turned the tables against him. And I've been so fortunate to have, like I'd mentioned earlier, to see all of this, to see him change, on and off the court. Where I remember watching his earlier matches when he was a completely different persona, a young teenager entering the scenes, a lot of aggression, a lot of pace, power, a complete game, a master of the net. And then we saw him change into this graceful gentleman who was always on top, whether it was with his words, whether it was speaking to his fans, or showing us his magic on the center courts in all the Grand Slams and multiple ATP events that he won thereafter. I think a few words or a few lines would be too little, but I think what he has done for the sport worldwide, whether it has been his epic rivalries with Rafa, with Djokovic, sometimes the matches with whether it was Murray or Hewitt. I think all of these matches have been fantastic. They've given the tennis world a lot to see, savor, discuss, and learn from. That's the most important part. And I think it's not just been the tennis fraternity. It hasn't just been tennis fans. I think a lot of other sports have a lot of other fans from other sports, whether it was have also been forced to take tennis into consideration, and they've converted into tennis fans now because they've heard so much about these great rivalries, because of the legends that we have in this sport. And I think it has just put tennis on a different map, as far as world sports is concerned. And I think it gives a lot of youngsters everywhere across the continent, to dream big, to achieve big, and to see that what great heights can one capture if you have the talent and if you have the dream to aspire and to work towards it. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I really enjoyed watching him, and he was one of my absolute favorites when it came on the tennis court. Obviously, there were times when I did, as a tennis expert, as someone who's played the game and is now coaching players, I do see contrasting game styles when I used to talk about, Rafa and Roger rivalry, and I have favored Rafa at times because of the favorite he was in certain surfaces and the way he changed his game style. But I think Roger has been the number one player, not just for me, but for many million fans across.